All right, so for this video, a little bit different. I'm going to actually just read through the notes. You guys should be taking them though. I attached a blank copy of the notes for you guys to fill in, and I do suggest you do that. So a lot of this, again, with statistics, come down to vocabulary. I'm going to split up this particular lesson in 3 different videos, basically each page of the note sheet. But again, a lot of it is understanding the actual vocabulary itself. All right, so from the other day, we talked about population. So a population, it's just a statistical study, okay, or it's in a statistical study, sorry, and it's the entire group of individuals about which you want information from. That is your population. The sample is the part of the population from which you actually collect the information from, and we're going to use that information to draw some conclusions. So type 1 example that you might see is going to ask you to identify the population and the sample in each of the following settings. So it says the student government at a high school surveys 100 of the students at the school to get their opinions about a change to the bell schedule. Again, identifying the population and the sample. Sometimes it's easier to identify the population first or sample, totally up to you. But when we're talking about a population in a high school, that would be all the high school students. When we're talking about the sample, we're only focusing on surveying 100 of them. So those would be the 100 students who are filling out the survey. With B, it says the quality control manager at a bottling company selects a sample of 10 cans from the production line every hour to see if the volume of the soda is within acceptable limits. So population is all of the cans of soda. And then again, you note in each of these, it focuses on one specific number. That number is sort of your indication of what the sample size is going to be. And in this case, it's 10 sample cans. All right, next set of information that we have here. We're talking about a couple items. We're going to talk about planning a survey, a sample survey. That gets all of them, yeah, okay. So, talking about planning a sample survey. So it's number 1, what population do we want to describe? Number 2, what do we want to measure? And number 3, you're going to choose an unbiased method to get a sample of a population. So we had talked about things that were biased, I believe in the first lesson. If not, we're definitely going over it right now. So a convenience sample is choosing individuals who are the easiest to reach. Think it's convenient. Something that's biased is using a sampling method that will consistently overestimate or underestimate the value of what you want. And it's sort of leading you in a specific direction if it's biased. A voluntary response sample consists of people who choose themselves by responding to a general request. It shows bias because it's only the people who have the strong opinions or the ones who think a certain way are the ones that are most likely going to respond to the particular question being asked. So let's just go over 2 of these. So these are asking, again, a lot of this comes down to vocabulary. Can you identify the type of sampling method that's used? So we're talking about either a convenient sample, a voluntary response sample, or a biased sample. It says a farmer brings a juice company several crates of oranges each week. A company inspector looks at 10 oranges from the top of each of the crates before deciding whether to buy all the oranges. So this would be a convenient sample because most likely they're going to be picking the ones that are sort of going to be on the top, which are usually the best because as the oranges go lower and lower, they're going to get smushed. So again, this would be a convenience sample because you're picking the items that are on the top. The ABC program Nightline once asked whether the United Nations should continue to have its headquarters in the United States. Viewers are invited to call one telephone number to respond yes and another for no. And there was a charge for calling either number. So again, here's the bit of information is there's a charge for calling. More than 186,000 callers responded and 67% said no. So this was not mandatory, so this was a voluntary response sample, and the people who obviously feel strongly about the issue are most likely going to be the ones who call.